Alright, can you see me? I wanted to talk about art history today. Because I personally believe that art history helps us with critical thinking. Yeah. I think my cats want to talk about it too. I bought this piece for 50% off because I was an art student and I saw this and I ran up to it because I also make horse drawings and paintings. And I was so happy to see this beautiful piece. And he was very kind and he gave it to me 50% off because I couldn't afford I couldn't afford it at its full price. And I booked it to the bank so I could get cash, so I could pay him in full. Which was great because I used to be a runner, so I was quick about it. But I've had this for almost 10 years now. Isn't that crazy? And the reason why I say art history teaches critical thinking is because it makes you think. Art history makes you think because there's two perspectives in this piece right now. Well, technically three, actually. There's the artist's context, why he made this piece. There's a context of me and what I see, and then there's a context of you and what you see. And that is amazing because it kind of teaches us empathy too. It teaches us that all of our opinions and our contexts are important and valid. And we can write specifically about his and ignore everybody else's, or how I see it and the history of it, possibly also the art history context. So what paintings was he referencing when he made this? What artist was he referencing? What artist did he grow up looking up to like I looked up to him? There's also the way it is put up. It's just canvas. There's no frame. There's nothing holding it up but nails. Actually, there's only 3 nails holding it up. And they've been holding it up for almost 10 years. And if you look at my pieces, I don't know if you can see them super well, but I do a lot of line work. Here, I'll move it so you guys can see it a little better. Here, we'll come over this way. Oh, we're just gonna scare Elliot. Sorry, Elliot. Bloop, 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 bloop. There we go. Can you see pretty well? Let's see. That's pretty focused. Do you want the framing there? Okay. There we go. So this is a palimpsest. It's a layering of images on top of each other. And I also combine multiple mediums. So there's scatter. There's oil paint, which is like this background area, that's oil paint. There's also oil pastel. And I started intermingling mixed media in oil painting class because there wasn't really a mixed media class at my college. They were more traditional based, which was weird because art history was kind of going away from like the traditional stuff and focusing more on like how we can combine things and include more than just white oil painting men into what is considered high art. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe in high art or low art. I think it's all in the viewer's perspective. And I'm saying that because art has been capitalized for way too long. Michelangelo literally put dicks in the Sistine Chapel because he was pissed off with the Catholic Church, and he was just doing it for the money. That's right, the Sistine Chapel has eggplants and fruit that looks like dicks. The women who look like men, Well, it's quite possible it's because he was gay. And he liked the male body more. Bubble popper. Whoop, 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 whoop. Make sure to tell your family this at Thanksgiving, by the way. If they're like, oh my gosh, things used to be so traditional, be like, well, Michelangelo put dicks in the Sistine Chapel. Ruin their day. Oh, also, Van Gogh most likely did not kill himself. He was most likely shot by a young child who was playing with a gun he shouldn't have had. America! And Van Gogh covered it up so that way the kid didn't get in trouble and like be in prison for the rest of his life. But then he started to regret it at like the third day of him just sitting there slowly dying. And he called for a doctor to try and maybe live, and then time ran out. Back to art. Woo! Sorry, this is my cat's air corner. So there's like lots of, they like to rip things. It's like a pastime of theirs. So they have lots of paper and cardboard that they can just... So if you ever hear that in my videos, it's a cat. These 3 drawings are of my dog Peavy that were drawn by 3 kids who came up to me when I was selling art. And I had art supplies out for anybody to make art because I've been trying really, really hard since college and during college to get everybody involved in art and get us back to our childhood interests. Art, music, theater, dancing, sports. Like, it's just grind and grind and grind and work and work and work and eventually we just have to stop and go, okay. That was a lot of damage. I need to not damage things anymore, right? If we're just upset because everyone else doesn't understand how we suffer, then like, no one's gonna care. Because we're expecting someone else to care more than how we care. That's something I've had to learn as a disabled person, is that how to be my own mom and dad, basically. And that kind of goes back to art. It does. Sorry. The thought was over there and I looked away from it. This is where editing would be really great. But my computer doesn't have space for it. Oh, thought's gone. Okay. Art is a pastime that for so long was like for people who were trained in it, people who were like born into the family that does it, or born next to a family who does it, or for rich people, or the rich wives, or, you know, but their art wasn't really considered high art, it was just like a hobby. Where have we heard that before? Oh, knitting's not art, it's just a hobby. Oh, crochet's not art, it's just a hobby. Carpet making isn't art. You know, those Amish barn quilts, that's not art. It is. It is. And you know what else is art? This fish. That's graphic design. This cat tree. It's art. Everything's art. Because it's from the perspective of you. You. It's my perspective that this is art. And you can try and change my perspective, but isn't it beautiful that I see something good in an ordinary thing? I mean, Bento! Bento! Thank you. The distractions are really on today. PB! If you don't want him to slap you, don't paw him. That's what That's communication. See? They both speak two different languages. They both have two different contexts, and they're colliding, and they can't understand each other. Kind of like if you don't understand me saying that this cat tree is art. But back to the palimpsest. This is a layering of images, and you can see multiple images put together in this one picture. Because there is a horse's eye that is either reflecting this or we're looking through. There is a foal right here who is looking into the eye, and you can see a hand shadow on the horse's face. So this shouldn't be a horse's eye, this might be a human's eye, but it's shaped like a horse's eye. And then we have mountains in the background. But those mountains are also the iris of the horse's eye. So we know it has to be a horse's eye. But then why is there a hand over a horse? See, we're thinking now. And everything can be like that. Let's find something else that is art. We'll just turn this way. All of these games are art. The graphic design of that little, whoop, can you guys see it? The graphic design of that little dog is art. This little Game of Thrones thing is art. Here. This is This is art. Whoop. Okay. And this was 3D printed. A lot of people write off 3D printing. Well, what? Actually, no. Sorry, that's not 3D print. That's oh no. Brain, no. Okay, I know what this is. I did this too with my phone series. It's wood that is. It's like it's a print. Okay. Okay. Let me try and explain this real quick. Let me try and explain this really quickly. All right. I've got 7 minutes to try and explain something that Okay. So that is basically, there's a program on your computer. Okay, this is how you know I'm like not tech savvy. There's a program on the computer that you create a line work on, which is just an outline. Do I have any line work? I don't. Line work is like it's a draw. Oh wait. This is line work. So it's the outline. It's just the basic outline, pretty much. And okay, there's so much more that goes into line work, but this isn't art. This is not an art class. This is an art history class. Okay. So once you have that on the program, you then send it to this big machine that laser cuts into wood or plastic or other materials. I don't quite remember. But like one of the things I love that they made were like book covers. So cool. Because it they like make certain slits so that way the wood actually folds. And like you can do that with like machinery and stuff, but like it's so cool to watch it print. And you're not supposed to watch it. Don't watch it, because it's still a laser. But yeah, that's what, see, like, but that's a process that I learned in school, is how to make that. In art school, I learned to do that, even in a traditional-based school. And to be fair, the fact that I was able to do a multimedia painting series in an oil painting class really shows that, like, you guys are finally seeing what, like, my unedited TikToks look like, by the way. It's this. My TikToks look, like, so smooth and well edited, and this is, like, the long version. This is what I saw. Now you feel my pain. ADHD will take you all down too. I'm gonna start making scripts. I'm gonna start doing it so you guys aren't tortured by this. But I was able to learn that because my teacher believed in art changing. And that's another thing art teaches us, is that stuff changes. And we can go back and look at old art so that way we can learn from it or admire it or even make our own art that's like it. But it's all art. All of it is. Kind of like literature. It's kind of like literature. I'm so fucking tired. Literature, art, music, theater, even sports, they all have a history that we look back on so that way we can do better or change course. You know, football players used to have just little leather helmets, and then they got the plastic ones, and now we're learning that, oh, you can actually have a concussion and die from it, or get multiple concussions, and it can literally damage your brain, and you can have a brain that almost looks like you have Alzheimer's. Like, that's scary. And look at sports today, you know? How are we changing sports to make it safer? How are we changing art to be more inclusive? How are we changing music, theater? What other things are there? Food! Oh my gosh! How are we changing food and gardening? Like, everything has a history for a reason. And once we start realizing that everything has a history and that everything, like, all these contexts matter, that's where we start gaining empathy and critical thinking. I brought it all back together.